Observability is a key part of LangChain, and we've put a lot of focus into making LangChain have the best observability as possible. As you're building complex applications with language models, whether it be really long sequences of chains or whether it be more agentic behavior, being able to understand exactly what's going on inside your application becomes really, really important. And even if you're working with simpler chains, oftentimes the prompts you construct come from many different sources. And so being able to see exactly what the inputs to the language model are, exactly what the outputs are, and all the steps along the way is really, really important to being able to iterate and improve your application. And we've designed LangChain to have a bunch of different options to make it incredibly observable and have a high level of observability into exactly what is going on. So walking through a few of these different options, let's take a look at what it looks like if we're using an agent without logging. We'll go over agents in other sections of this tutorial, but here we can construct it rather quickly and then we can invoke it. And we'll see that it takes a little bit to respond under the hood, and we'll see this later on. It's making a few different LLM calls, it's calling out to a search engine, and so there's quite a bit of API calls that are being made. And so we get back a final output, but we don't exactly know what happened inside. And so that makes it tough to iterate on the prompts. There's, we're using an agent prompt here. There's the LLM that we're using. There's the output parser that we have. And all of those can be tuned according to what we want to accomplish. But in order to do that, we have to understand exactly what's happening. So the first method that we added this really early on in LangChain, and it's been around ever since. It was inspired by Offer Press's self-ask paper, and it just prints out the steps that happen at a highish level. So we're not getting all the details, but we're getting the high level of what's happening. So if we set verbose equals true here, and then recreate the agent, and then we call it again, we can see here that we have some nice printing of what exactly is going on. So we're calling this tool with this search query, we're getting back this response, and then we're getting back this final answer. And so, again, we're not seeing all the information, but we're seeing high level what steps are occurring. So this is a good first pass. We've added another method since then called debug equals true. And this logs way more information. And so it might be overkill sometimes, but other times it can be really helpful to see exactly what's going on. So here we'll set verbose equals false, we'll set debug equals true, we'll recreate the agent, and then we'll call it again. And here we start getting lots of logs of everything that's going on. And so this is really useful when you want to dig into what exactly is happening, input-output level of every step along the way. So here we can see that we have, so this is the exact prompt that's being used. We've got a system message and a human message. And again, when you have really complex prompts, in this case it's kind of simple, but when you have really complex prompts, it's really useful to be able to see what's going on. We can see the formatted prompt, we can see the exact return of the chat generation, we can see the token counts there, and then we keep on getting this for the rest of the agent. This is great if you're in a REPL environment like this Jupyter Notebook, but when you're maybe not in this, or when you want to persist these logs more, or if you just want to explore these logs in a more intuitive way, right? This is a little bit of a dump of everything. Then you're probably going to want a more full-fledged tool, and that's why we built LangSmith. LangSmith isn't the focus of this video or the launch of LangChain 0.1 in general, but it's absolutely worth highlighting because LangChain is built to be the most observable framework, but we've also built tools along the side to make that a reality. So with LangSmith, what we can do is we can go into LangSmith, we can go to our project, we can just set these 3 environment variables, and so we can do that here. And I'm going to pause the video and put in my API key so you don't see it. I've done that now. We can now set debug equals false just to get rid of this noise, and then we can run it. And what's going to happen is in the background, it's going to log everything to this trace section here. And then I can click into it, and I can see the exact steps that occurred. I can see So here we're highlighting, so as you notice with the JSON, there's a lot of events that are happening. There's a lot of different formatting of prompts that are happening, parsing that's happening. And so we have one view where you can see all of that. You can click into the ones. You can see what exactly the inputs are, what exactly the outputs are. You can go into a playground experience and edit it and play around with it. There's a bunch of other functionality that's part of Langsmith that I won't go into here. But then we also have this most relevant run where we just show you the important events like API calls to LLMs, retrieval calls, tool calls, things like that. And so this is a really good way to see exactly what's going on inside your chains, agents, even just LLM calls if you're doing a lot of complex prompting there. And again, this isn't the purpose of LangChain 0.1, but I think this really shows how we've instrumented the whole LangChain ecosystem around this really important idea of observability, which we've found to be incredibly crucial for building LLM applications that actually work.